Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. So there's a problem here, which is that my stream chat thing is not working at all. So I wonder why that's happening. I did update it, but I just reverted it back to the old version and it's still not working. That's a little bit unfortunate. So it looks like we're just gonna have a big empty space in the chat there. I don't know how to fix this. How do I fix this? Can I trigger a test message? Do I want to do this on stream or do I just say, oh well, for this stream we're not going to have chat? That kind of sucks, doesn't it? Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, well, I guess it's not working. It's completely broken, so maybe I'll try to fix it again when I take my break in like an hour, but I can still see your chat. I just am not going to be able to highlight anything. So, okay, well, that's a little bit of a bummer, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. We're going to make it, everybody. It's not the end of the world. We're going to make it. So let me do this as well. I'm just going to pin this message real quick. I'm kind of scrambled because of that issue now, but that's okay. All right, so before we get into what we're doing today, I want to remind everyone that Gunforged is available for purchase. It's my 2D roguelite shooter that is my first release as a full-time indie dev. So if you want to support my work, this is a great way to do it. You can purchase Gunforged. It's 50% off right now. And if you play it, I would also appreciate if you left a review. I also just released, as of yesterday, the new Udemy course, which is an online cooperative multiplayer game in Godot 4. So you're going to learn everything: server authoritative architecture, remote procedure calls. You're going to use Godot's high-level networking, high-level multiplayer networking stuff. And yeah, there's all kinds of interesting things: how to connect to people, how to host a server, a lobby system where players ready up, display names for players, so how a player can configure their name so it shows up on all the other clients. All that good stuff is included in the course. And it's a twin stick shooter game, so if you're interested in that as well, you get kind of like the basics of how to make a twin stick shooter. So yeah, you can purchase that now. The link is pinned in the chat there, and it says that it has 0 ratings and only 146 students. I'm working on that right now. It takes 48 hours for the ratings to appear in Udemy. So if you get the course, leave a rating. Don't worry if it doesn't show up immediately. It's going to take a while for Udemy to aggregate that. But again, this is a great way to support my work. The course is brand new. It's on Godot 4.4 and all that good stuff. So yeah, check that out. And yeah, that's about it. So let's get into what we're doing today. Yesterday, I was working on a highlight system for clickable elements. I think I've figured that out, and I'll go over the problem and how I solved that. But I think for the first part of the stream here, I'm just going to go through all of my scenes that have clickable elements and make sure that everything is functional. And then we'll probably do something fun, like make some cards or some artifacts or something. I really feel like making this a fun stream today, so we're probably going to do that. And I also want to experiment. I realized that my way of designing enemy boards is going to get very cumbersome as I add more enemy cards. So I kind of want to revisit randomly generating enemy board configurations, but probably not going to get to that in this stream, but maybe in the future. So anyway, let's see here. I think, oh no, I can't see the chat. My pinned messages is, oh no, this is going to be a disaster stream, isn't it? I need to update my banner at the bottom too. Shoot, I have so much to do. Let me write that down. Update stream banner. I guess I was not prepared to release the course. I wasn't expecting Udemy to approve it the same day, but they did. So anyway. All right, I think AnyKey is here. Hello, AnyKey. Unfortunately, my chat is broken. The app doesn't work. I think YouTube might have made a change that broke the social stream app, so I think I have to wait for the developer to fix that, unfortunately. But good morning, hello, AnyKey. Good morning, Lukey. Emerson, welcome, welcome. Ito Makes Games, welcome back. Wanted to buy your course, but I noticed that it's GD script. Is there going to be a C# version? No, there will not be a C# version. It's just going to be GD script. Hello, Awab, welcome back. Good morning, Ariane. The course has already been bought. Thank you. Guess what I just did? Did you buy the course, Matthias? Thank you, thank you. I'm assuming that's what you did anyway, and welcome to the stream. Just sent you a DM on Udemy. Oh, okay, awesome. I will check that out when I get off stream here. In the multiplayer course is GD script. Yes, Edson, it's GD script. Good morning, Chris. Welcome back. Guess what I just did? I bought the complete... Oh, yeah. I got that. Okay, good. Thank you, Matthias. Appreciate that. How far does it go into pings, latency issues? So the server authoritative functionality that we... The server authoritative functionality that we use is a naive implementation, which means that it just has a round trip latency. So the players send their input to the server runs the game, and then rebroadcasts back the state changes to the clients, which works if you're on a relatively low latency, but as you get into higher latency, it definitely has noticeable input lag. I do have a little lesson at the end of the course that points you in the direction of how you can address that. One way you can address that is just by going to a full peer-to-peer model where the clients have authority over their movement. So that way the client position is updated immediately. But I also point out some tools or some approaches you can use. Like with NetFox, you can do client-side prediction and server reconciliation. But unfortunately, that is way too big of a topic to cover in the course. That could be an entire course in and of itself. But I do point you in the direction of how you can resolve those latency issues, with the peer-to-peer option being the easiest one to do, because the goal of the course is to teach you the high-level multiplayer concepts with the server authoritative model as sort of like the go-to example, because a lot of people want to know how to do that. But it should be relatively easy to take what you learned and modify the player code such that the player has authority over their own movements, which would eliminate the round trip latency. So yeah, that's a long-winded answer to your question, but saw the video yesterday about the course Instabuy. Thank you. Comment bar off. Yeah, it's broken. The app is broken that I use. Can't even use the trials, need help. What do you mean, Neozoid? And welcome back. I'm writing it down on paper, yeah. I don't know, like for really quick, like to-do list things that only have a couple of items, I just write it down on paper. It's just easier because I have a book. See, I've got a little book. Oh my gosh. I got a little book and a pen. It's archaic, ancient technology. This is a pen. Does everyone got that? Do the Zoomers in the chat know what this is? This is ancient technology. I think I was probably the last generation of Americans to learn cursive in school, too, which is kind of funny to think about. I forgot how to write in cursive, so. Hello, Vaughn, welcome back. How would you implement the AI pathfinding manually to find the path to the player in a top-down action RPG? Thought of using A-Start, but think it would be kind of a natural with it. In Godot, you can use nav meshes in the navigation agent system. But I guess you're wanting to do it manually. I would use, so the way you could do it is I would use steering behaviors in combination with A-star pathfinding. So you use A-star to generate the path, but then you use steering behaviors just to keep the agent generally along the path. And you can regenerate the path if the agent goes too far, like veers too far off the path. Or you can just keep regenerating the path every like half a second or whatever, so that they're always up to date based on what they're doing. So I think it's going to look unnatural if you just try to make the agent stick exactly to the path. You should use it more of like a waypoint system where like the agent generally tries to steer toward the next point in the path, but then you have more control over like the acceleration and deceleration, and they can have a little bit of like extra movement, like side to side or something. So that's the way that I would approach it. Anonymous. Hello, Schlurgy. Welcome back. You're welcome, John. I bought the course with the intention of having a base, and from there being able to go after more content. Yeah, and that's the goal of the course. The goal of the course is it's a relatively bare bones games in terms of mechanics, but I touch on, I think, enough stuff and enough different ways of synchronizing data that you should be comfortable extending those patterns into your own game. Okay, Unc. Yeah. I think you should add something like items you can collect through the run. You can have max 3 and use them. Oh, in this game? Have you ever seen Russian cursive letters? It's insane. I have not, no. When I enable the trials, the particles disappear. I don't know what you're referring to by trials. Oh, trails? Oh, trails. I don't know how to do particle trails. I've never really done that. Whenever I want to do particle trails, I just increase the amount of particles that are being emitted. Picked up the Survivors course since it was on sale yesterday, and it's been great so far. Thank you, Schlurgy. To do the steering, you need to raycast the vectors to the obstacles, right? I wouldn't be... No, what you would do is you would, in your A-star grid, you would make the cells that contain obstacles not navigable. So you want to generate your grid knowing in advance where all of the obstacles are, so that the A-star pathfinding is just generally never going to generate a path through an obstacle. You might need to do some extra raycasting, like it depends on how much padding you give, I guess, between the A-star pathfinding potential and the obstacle. I would probably just make sure there's like a 16, I don't know what kind of game you're making, but if I was making a pixel game, I'd probably do like a 16 or 32 pixel radius around obstacles, just to ensure that the agents are not likely to collide with them. Have had no issues translating it to C#. Excellent. Hello, Ferneffer. Welcome. I wish I could highlight your comments on the stream. I'm missing that functionality, but I hope that gets fixed soon. But as far as I can tell, I think it's out of my control. I think YouTube may have made a breaking change to how their live chat system works, and so I think the developer needs to fix it. I think. That's my hunch anyway. But we won't dwell on that. I can still see your comments. I'm just going to have to be diligent about reading them. Okay, so yeah. So I have this outline shader. So if I go to my alchemy container, I have this outline shader now, which plays an effect for elements that are clickable, because that's a big point of feedback, which is people, even the chat viewers, were like, it's hard to tell what elements are clickable. So now I've got an outline that plays around the clickable elements. So you can see with the alchemy, it's doing an outline like that. Now the problem that we were ending up with yesterday was that since canvas group uses the screen texture, and this is a canvas group here, since canvas group uses a screen texture and that radial effect has to go from the center of the texture, then that radial effect was basically going from the center of the screen and then out. So I could end up with a situation where the entirety of the alchemy pot would be outlined as the effect rotated around the screen. So what I had to do is I had to tell the shader where the center is from which that radial operation happens. And the way that I actually ended up doing that for the canvas group in particular is if I look at my clickable control here, I actually have a couple of different shader uniforms that I set now, which is this object screen position and object screen size. And so the screen position would be the top left corner of the bounding rect, and the screen size would be the size of the bounding rect. And then those two pieces of information together can be used to get the center of the texture. And that's set in the process method here for this clickable control. So that way it's updating every frame. So if there's animations or whatever, it's not, it doesn't have out-of-date object positions. And this process is disabled by default, so I'm setting process to false and ready, and it only gets enabled if the shader or if the outline target is a canvas group, and then it starts setting those parameters. So that was the fix for the canvas group version of the shader, and it actually works pretty well now. So I think that's good. So with the rest of the stream, or not the rest of the stream, but for the first little bit of the stream here, I'm just going to go through all of the scenes where I have clickable elements, and I just want to make sure that they're all looking okay. I already tested it with the alchemy container, and I tested it also with the artifact event container here. So this actually looks pretty good. So these will be highlighted. There we go. And yeah, I think that just calls attention better to which elements are clickable, and that outline looks really good actually as it goes around. So yeah, I'm very happy with that effect. I think that makes it very clear what can be clicked now. And it looks really good, honestly. I think it's turning out pretty good. So yeah, let's see. Just make your own comment app easy. I thought about that, but it's actually not that easy. What field were you working in software dev before game dev? I was doing software engineering, full stack development, just basically doing everything. Cloud infrastructure stuff, back-end service and API development, front end, you know, CSS, HTML, React, that kind of stuff. And my part-time job, I'm doing React Native as well as back-end and cloud infrastructure development. So I do a little bit of everything. It's called we do a little bit of everything. What is that theme? The Godot theme is the minimalist theme. So if you just search Godot minimalist theme in Google, I think it will come up. And welcome, CatZ. I'm doing my own engine, so I was kind of stuck with pathfinding, but your solution is quite simple to implement, and the padding should solve the problem indeed. Awesome. Glad to help, Anonymous. Happy to help. The Kohler. Hi, it looks like your stream overlay is not working. Yeah, it's not working. The banners are supposed to be empty. They don't always have something, but I may change that. I may just always put an ad there. I'm just gonna do like the Idiocracy thing and just put ads all over the screen with the viewable content window just super small. How does everyone feel about that? So, anyone seen Idiocracy? Lucas Farias, good morning to you as well. Welcome. Jack of all trades, master of none. I think that's a good way of saying it. I would say that I'm a master of back-end service development, but definitely proficient in all the other things that I mentioned. What was that keyboard shortcut for search resources pop-up? So Control-Shift-O opens the quick open scene. So it filters only by scenes. And then Control-O is, Control-P is just like general resource search. So I could do dowsing rod. If I search for dowsing rod, I get all the resources related to that. But I think scenes also appear in here too, yeah. So if you want to just search everything, that would be Control-P, and Control-Shift-O is limited to scenes specifically. Very handy. That's the only way that I navigate my projects, really. It's so slow to go and click through these folders and stuff. If you already know the name of the thing you're looking for, it's so much quicker just to open this quick open and search for it. And I do that with VS Code too. You'll see me using Control-P all the time to go to a specific script. So yeah, I'm going to go through, but in this case, I am going to click through this because I need to look at all of my events. So we did Alchemy, we did Artifact. Let's see, Booster. I'm going to probably want to add this to Booster. Did I refactor this to use... Oh, Booster Container. Clickable Control 2. How is this even working? Hold up a second. Do I need to refactor these now? Shoot, this might be harder than I thought. Let's close this. Did I not refactor this? Update highlight. Shoot, I'm gonna have to refactor these. Okay, I'm not gonna do that on this stream. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that right now. Here we go, though. This one, I think this will just work. Let me see. Well, it's not going to work if I don't have a card added to it. Private void setup test. Okay, and then board inventory component try place card at next available position. We need a card stats object, so this would be card new, or can I do card stats from? No. Card registry base card from ID. Card ID skeleton warrior. True. Is that gonna work? What was the, let's see, Idiocracy is so ahead of its time. I know, my mother says that it's a horror movie. And I tend to agree with her. Let me check something. How many of you guys are Brazilians? Oh yeah, that's a good one. Idiocracy is the funniest movie, the hospital scene. I know. Me and my buddies, we watch that in college quite frequently. Just like, you know, you do a little bit of drinking in college as you do, and you fire up Idiocracy, and it's just like the funniest thing in the world. I love that movie. Snupbill, thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. Always generous. I'm sorry that it's not showing up in a way that I can highlight it. My chat is broken, unfortunately, but I can still read your messages. But thank you, Snupbill. Very generous as always. And we have the message Yummers here, which we all love. Hello, A the Ant. Welcome back. Rin, good to see you. Welcome. Emerson is from Brazil. I'm also from Brazil. Nice. I do have quite an international audience. I think it's largely because I don't know what it is about Godot that has. It seems like most of Godot users are non-American, which is just, I just think it's interesting. That's all. Okay, I think that looks decent. Just make sure this all works. I can't actually click anything, but that's all right. Okay, so that's working great. Let me just make sure. Event selection. Oh, this is old. View owners. We can delete this. I love deleting old code. Remove. Goodbye. You know what Godot needs? It needs a way of... It needs a way of being able to view all resources that don't have... Actually, can I do that? Orphan Resource Explorer. Wow. Okay, this is what I wanted. Thank you, Godot. So we can do the Orphan Resource Explorer, and this will tell me all the resources that are not explicitly linked to anything. It looks like particles is not, so I could go through this and delete things that I'm not using anymore. Oh my. There's a lot here that's not used. I have to be careful though, because some resources are loaded in code, which means they're not explicitly related to any Godot scenes. So this may actually not be that useful. Mostly, I just need to clean up all of the art assets that I'm no longer using, which is quite a bit. But I'll do that later. That's not important right now. I'm not even going to bother with this. This screen is still in progress. I'm redoing this whole thing. Grill board container. This one, yeah, clickable control. This has an outline target. Okay, so let's run this one. What in the heck? Oh, that only outlines the crystal. I might change that, honestly. Okay, that's fine. I also did some updates. I don't know if you noticed, but I did some updates to the pot. I noticed that the pot was looking a little bit inconsistent with the rest of my stuff. So I increased the outlines under the lip here, the dark parts, and as well as around the handle. And I also changed the spoon to be the same purple red colors rather than the green. And I think that just looks more visually consistent. So that was a little tweak that I made. This grill board container. This clickable control is highlighting the crystal only. Let's actually change this to the visuals itself. Oh, but those particles are underneath. Do I need those to be underneath? I don't want it to outline the particles, but maybe it'll be okay. Let's see. It might look a little weird if it outlines the particles as well. Yeah. So I'm going to want to move these particles outside. And I'll probably want to fade those out specifically. So I'm going to get a reference to that, and let's just do that. What did I call it? Firefly particles. Play in. Were these previously under... I don't think it matters, actually. Play fade out. Await, visual utilities fade out. Let's just do this. Visual utilities fade out. Firefly particles. I actually don't know if that's going to work. Let's find out. Oh, why did that do partial? Edson's from Brazil as well. The Ants America. Would you say C# Godot implementation has gotten a lot better over the past year? Yes, absolutely. Yep. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, it has gotten a lot better. How did you do the outline animation and the sprites with the shader? So I don't know, and I'm not just being a little bit cheeky there, as the friends across the pond would say. I had the AI do it, but my understanding of how the AI approached it is you have, if you think about like a radius, right? Think about a cone that is rotating around a pivot point that's in the center of the texture. And then that's like a visibility cone. So the outline should only be drawn as long as it's within that range of that cone. And so that's a couple of relatively simple mathematical checks. And then you just rotate the cone around in accordance with a shader parameter like progress. And so and then I animate that shader parameter, that progress value, with a tween. And so it's basically just rendering like a 15-degree, arc of the outline. And that cone rotates around in accordance with that progress. That's the gist of it. I don't know the exact math the AI wrote, but that's how it works. Been avoiding it personally because of workflow performance reasons. Oh, yeah, it can be a little bit slower developmentally, C#. Not so proud American here. As I've been working in it more, Godot feels less confusing than Unity. Only thing I've yet to tackle is UI elements. I think generally software that has been around longer is going to be more confusing because, you know, Unity has been around and it just keeps packing features into the engine. And I think that if you don't have a strong UX vision, or if you are not continually reevaluating your UX, it's just easy to end up with a tool that's just a pile of functionality. I'm not saying that that's how Unity is, but I think that's a common thing that happens. And I think that Godot is kind of getting to that point as well, where it needs like some serious UX thinking, because we talked about this yesterday. A lot of the like inspector resources stuff, like it's so easy to get lost in this menu here, especially when you're going to sub resources and everything. And, you know, as Godot continues to grow and has more and more functionality, like they're already like cluttering up this bottom tab with all kinds of different things that contextually appear and disappear. It's just like, yeah, it's not going to be scalable for the long term, but yeah, we'll see. I like being able to easily get nodes from code without them being exports. Made it especially easy with your Godot utils. Yeah, me too. That's interesting. Didn't know that. What are you referring to? I don't know. I can't remember the things I said 3 minutes ago. Another thing I learned from this stream, Orphan Resource Explorer. Nice. Yes, yeah. What are we doing? We're just checking the outlines right now of my various events here, and then I think we're almost done. The resurrection container, I know that works. Now the shop, this is going to be an interesting one. Let's see how the shop works. If you're going to use Godot with C#, the Godot utilities are a must. Yeah, thank you. I need to do some work on my Godot utilities. There's a bunch of other stuff I want to add. Okay, so there's a couple of broken things here. Wow, that's a little bit too busy. I might disable the outline, that outline effect for all of these things, because I think these are obviously clickable because they have little price tags on them. So I might just not do that effect here. I think that effect is mostly necessary for things that just look like plain art. Yeah, I think I'm going to redo that. It's as shrimple as that. Yep, shrimple as that. I actually have shrimp in a little aquarium that's 10 feet behind me. Shrimp, they're fun to keep. I also have a bunch of nanofish. What's going on in here? Oh. I need to create some new shop. Oh, my test data is out of date. Event type.skeleton warrior, what are you doing? You're such a silly AI. And then I need artifact configurations as well. This is just test data. Artifact resource. What would you suggest to someone like me who would have the time to do this game dev but find it really hard? What would I suggest? I think it's just a matter of, as unsatisfying as it sounds, of just like doing it. You kind of have to get you kind of have to get just used to kind of getting stuck on things and working your way through them. And I don't know, like, because everyone learns a little bit differently, but my general suggestion is, like, identify a project that you want to do. Like, I think the example I used yesterday was like an RPG. And then identify the smallest pieces of functionality that you need for it. For example, movement. And then just see if you can get code written that gets the player moving and struggle through that. Like, you're going to have to expect that you struggle through it. And that's part of the learning process, right? You're gonna have to struggle through it. You're gonna have to figure out what each line does and why you're doing certain things, and you just go up from there. So you just gradually work your way up from the simple things, and you just keep layering things on. But yeah, I don't know if I can give much better advice than that necessarily, unfortunately. I know that's not super helpful, but yeah, start small. Start with a small chunk that you can reasonably do, and just embrace the fact that it's going to be a little bit of a struggle at first. Could have done a subtle glare, but no, straight up light it up. Yeah, I could do, I mean, I can still change the effect. Yeah, best way to learn is by doing, yeah. I've always been like a kind of a trial by fire kind of person where it's just like, just start trying to do it and just piece the things together as you go along, and yeah, use resources as necessary to help you out. But why is there no outline happening now? I think I know why. I think I know why. Do I know why? Oops. I think this is shadowing. I think this is shadowing something. Is it? No? What is going on? Why are those not highlighting? Hello, Dev. Why Godot? I don't know. I just like Godot. I liked it ever since the first moment I started using it. Which was many years ago at this point. But I just think it's very intuitive. I think the scene tree structure is very easy to understand, and yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those things that just feels good to use. Why is this not working? I don't understand. Oh, this already has a shader material. Oh, I don't want that. Maybe that's the problem. Is Godot easy for coding? No, it's not the coding. The coding is going to be as easy or as difficult as your experience level. I think Godot is very powerful as a game engine. What is going on? Do you see how laggy this window is? Oh. Oh. That would explain why it's so laggy. What is going on? Okay. I don't know what happened there. I think it's related to some of these things are tool scripts, I think. Like, I think this is a tool script here. I don't know if this is going to work. If engine is editor hint return. I don't know. Oh, because I am calling base.ready, actually. Okay. Oh, and there it goes again. So there's something wrong with my tool scripts, I think. Let's just get rid of that. Let's just build. Oh my gosh, tool scripts are so annoying. No, that shouldn't be necessary. Well, let's see. What else? Oh, so it is the shelf. There's something wrong with the shelf. Shelf. Maybe I'll do that there. Is that going to fix it? Maybe. Okay, fixed. Very nice. Do I have to do that for the other things? Let's see. Ivan. I get so easily distracted, and there are things like state machines and other stuff that I find intimidating. I feel the need to make and know everything from the beginning, which I know is impossible. Yeah, I understand that. I think that, yeah, you just approach things in a naive way first. Get things working. You don't need a state machine before you have a need for it. So just like get your player working, and then once your player starts to feel complicated or you're managing a lot of flags or whatever, then go and learn, okay, how do I use a state machine for this? You gotta just build up gradually. You're not going to do it right from the beginning. And, you know, the right way to do things is also kind of, to some extent, subjective. So I would say just focus on getting the things working first, and then let that inform how you go further in your learning. Love it, the first node, my friend. Yes, yes, indeed. Lag, yeah. I am using C#, yes. Those errors, yeah. Don't get me started on art. Yeah, the art is hard, yeah. Explosion coming. Yeah, tool scripts are just, they have a tendency to break like that. Have you heard about Bevy, and what is your stance on experimenting with different engines? I don't really have an opinion on that. I think if your goal for a game jam is to learn, then yeah, use a different engine for the game jam. But if your goal is to create a game that you want to rank very highly, you should definitely stick with the tools that you're already productive with and that you already know well. So if I wouldn't like switch to a new engine and then also expect, hey, this game is going to make top 100. Like, you can't have both of those things, you know? I think the real test for Godot as an engine is when it's used for larger products where the level of abstraction is higher. Yeah. Errors from tool scripts, that's my life. Yeah, seriously. It's the shader material is null and trying to set a shader parameter in clickable control. Yeah, I just don't want, I think it was the process. It was running the process method when it shouldn't be. So I didn't want that. Yeah, that was the problem there. Yeah, use the simple style, switch on an enum. That's a good suggestion, Chris. Mantra is make it run, make it work, make it fast. Yes. Now let's see if this actually works now. Shop container. I don't know why these aren't highlighting now. That's very annoying. Not even these ones are working. Why are these not working? I don't understand. Okay, tell you what, give me a quick 3-minute break. I need to go and do something real quick. So, 3-minute break. Again, check out the pinned message. That's the new online cooperative multiplayer course in Godot that I just released yesterday. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that out and purchase it if you like. I'll be right back in 3 minutes and we'll continue on. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. Thanks for the tips and encouragement from everyone. Yeah, for sure. I'd have to start by uninstalling certain distractions from my PC. Yeah. Hello, Real Cruda. Can you explain what happened in your code when you're back? The issue that I was having was it was just a tool script that was running in the editor, and in the process method of this clickable control, it was trying to set a shader parameter on something that was not valid. So I think that's what was happening. It's just tool script stuff. It wasn't anything super important. But now I gotta figure out why the outline is not working. I don't know why that's happening. Why is the outline not working? I'm in the wrong spot. Like, the artifact should at least be working. Goodness gracious, this is not how I wanted the stream to go, but gotta fix these things, I guess. Why is this happening? So the outline effect is working. That's working there. Why is it not highlighting these ones though? Did I break something? Shoot. Oh, is my outline error wrong? Hold on. Maybe it's this. So is it the outline error that's being wrong? gd.print outline target dot material. Outline error. Did I do something wrong? Error. Canvas group outline error. Oh, I think this is wrong. Yeah, I have the wrong shader in here. How did that happen? Let's make this... Yeah, let's load, quick load, canvas group outline.gd shader. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, that's probably what's happening. So it's invalid for me to purchase anything. So it should be red. There we go. Okay, so now it's red. Perfect. Now it's working great. And if I were to give myself some money, is this an auto load? I don't think so. No, it's not an auto load. Game debug, public static void create currency manager. Okay, so then in my shop container, in my test data, game debug dot create currency manager this, currency manager dot add blood, I don't know, 12. Let's see if that works now. Let's see if that works now. Okay, so some of these, oh, they should all be, yeah, outlined correctly. Now the last thing to do is I want to disable that animation in my clickable control. Export private bool disable outline animation. Start clickable tween. If not, is instance valid, or disable outline animation. Yeah, that should work. So now I can build and I can just disable those animations for all of the shop items. So here, we'll just go into this one. Disable outline animations on. Okay. Assign clickable control pedestal to 3. Oops. Okay, that should disable those animations now. And now the outline animation should only be on the sign. Yep, cool. Cool. Why can't I click that one? Oh, probably because I purchased it. Okay. Oh, I did purchase it. Nice. Okay. So in the test screen, it's a little bit weird, but that's fine. All right. And then what else do we have going on here? Shop. Skip event, speed control. I might do the same thing here. I'll do that later as well. Okay, so fix, highlight, animations. All right, now let's do something fun, now that that's all squared away. How am I doing? I'm doing well. Thank you, Real Cruda. How are you? So just make stuff. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't matter if your entire game runs on ifs and else's. Just start. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And as you get experience and as you figure out like, oh, this thing is kind of rough or this if statement is too complex or whatever, that's your cue to then go a little bit further and yeah, try to get a different system in place. Have to go now. Thank you for your time. You're welcome, Dev. Thanks for joining. Hello, I'm a YouTube watcher. Can't really catch your streams, but I wanted to thank you. I'm making a project in Godot and having your streams on second monitor is really nice. Well, thank you, Arkrega. Very much appreciate that, and thanks for being here. Doing all right today, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. All right, let's do something fun now. Maybe we'll do another artifact or a card. Let's see. I kind of want to do the sacrificial lamb. I think that would be really cool. It'd be very hard though, drawing a lamb. Mausoleum key, wisp, caduceus. I don't remember what that is. What is that? Oh, it's the staff with the snake, right? The medical symbol. Right, okay. That would be a cool one to do. A wisp. Leech, cursed egg hatches after X number of combat victories. A leech would be cool. I think a leech would be really fun, actually. A beating heart, a ziggurat. I kind of want to make like a big 3x3 card that's really powerful somehow. Zombie, bone necklace, tomes, tombstone. What abilities do I have in here? Cleanse current debuffs, consume all current poison stacks, and deal damage equal to that amount. Improves healing of any healing ability by 1. That's a good one. That's one I don't have yet. That would be interesting. So I have like a morel. That might be a good option. Renders the card unusable after execution, but provides a buff of some kind. Maybe doubles the effectiveness of nearby cards. That would be an interesting one as well. There's a lot of interesting things to go in here. Heal X per adjacent healing ability. Reduces turn cooldown remaining. Give adjacent cards echo. Provide a damage buff to minions. Gains crit chance, crit magnitude. What about artifacts here? I mean, there's so many cool things to do. I don't know what to do. Snake on a staff, yes. What task app is this? Obsidian. Obsidian with the Kanban community plugin. New card sounds fun. Yeah, we might do that. Thank you to AI. It actually helps me know how to prompt it properly. Yeah. Let's do a new card then. I'm thinking either a morel or a leech. Let's do a morel. I like that idea. And the ability we're going to give it is, let's do this. I don't like this idea. The idea of modifying other cards directly is going to be really hard to do, but maybe not. It might not be that hard, actually. Is that a good idea from a game design standpoint, though? Like, if I had the morel just give all adjacent cards, like, 1 healing, so that every time the adjacent card... Yeah, I don't know about that. Let me think. Like, there's cards that, like, gain power depending on what other cards are on the board, but then I could go another direction, too, which is that the card projects new abilities out onto existing cards. So, like, the morel, for instance, or any card, really, could, like, add a healing ability to every adjacent card. You know what I mean? And that's a little bit different than the morel gaining power, because then your healing frequency is going to be based on the other card's turn counter, and also that ability would inherit the tier of the card as well. So it'd be a little bit of an interesting thing to do, but I'm worried if that's just going to be weird from a gameplay perspective or not. I don't know. What do we think about that? Do you have an ability like haste from the bazaar? I do, yes. Can you access Obsidian on the cloud like Notion? I tend to bounce around devices a lot. There's something called Obsidian Sync, which is like their proprietary note synchronization thing, which I have not used, so I can't vouch for it, but it seems to be relatively cheap, and it does exactly what you want it to do. That said, if you sync your vault to a cloud service like Google Drive or GitHub or something, it should be possible to just make it available on multiple devices. I'm kind of unsure what to do. Sync thing if you want to DIY. I'm kind of... I'm kind of skeptical that this is going to work, but I kind of want to try it. I want to try doing a morel that can give adjacent cards healing. But the problem is that yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. It sounds interesting, though. IDK how your cards are implemented, but could just be a component that checks if the card is in range of true, gives healing. Yeah, I mean, I think I know how to approach it from a technical standpoint, but at the same time, it's like... yeah, it's kind of difficult to do, I think. Mostly just like the state management stuff, like updating the abilities on the cards. Well, I guess we're not going to get anything done by just thinking about it, so I'll try doing this approach, and if it ends up being too messy, I will think about the morel a little bit differently. But let's go ahead and draw it real quick. I think it's going to be a relatively easy one to do. I think. I don't know. We'll see. Load default palette. Okay. Oops, I didn't do this right. Okay. Does everyone know what a morel looks like? That looks bad. Hold on a second. That'll work. That'll work. Do I want to use a darker color? The problem is, I wonder if I should make this red instead. I mean, I could even mix. I think that looks okay. It's not terribly good. That's probably all right. Yeah, it's probably okay. Does that look all right? Let's see. Did I get it? I think it's passable. Dang it. I think it's passable. Do you build your systems in a way that can be used in different projects? Like if you wanted to prototype a new idea, could you easily move systems from this project to another? No, I don't worry about making the code reusable across projects. I just build the stuff in accordance with what I need for the project, and if I do have stuff that can be reused, like a loot table or whatever, I'll probably put that in my Godot utilities so I can pull that in. So there are definitely like utilities and stuff that can be easily used in other projects, but no, I just write the code as needed for this project, and that's okay. I found this app because of your video. Thank you. You're welcome. Glad to hear that. If you have cards that already give healing, adding another card that gives healing would take away from the uniqueness of the card itself. Yeah, I don't have a card. I have cards that do heals, but I don't have a card that projects healing abilities onto other cards. What does Pixel Perfect do in Aseprite? What that does is that just makes sure that your lines, when you're drawing them, that they don't have like double up jaggies for the most part. Whereas if I turn off Pixel Perfect, you see that I can get blobs when I'm drawing. So Pixel Perfect just kind of keeps it like as a nice continuous line. So what are you going to do with all the extra time you have from finishing the Udemy course? I'm going to be developing this game and doing YouTube videos and stuff like that. Close enough for the amount of pixels? I think so, yeah. I think so. Shisong, welcome. Just purchased a Udemy course, but haven't started it yet. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And let me know how you like it. Leave a review, anyone who takes the course. The reviews, especially early reviews, will help me out a lot because Udemy will detect if the course is good or not based on the reviews, and it will promote that for me. So that would really help get the that promotional ball rolling, because most of the sales are ultimately going to come from people doing organic Udemy searches. So your reviews and your engagement with the course help a lot in that respect. Okay, create new resource, card definition resource. You already got a project planned after this one? I do not, no. I do not. I have some ideas of games that I want to build. Like, I've been too scared to try this, but I want to create a definitive, necromancer experience. Because when you think about games that have, necromancy or summoning themes, usually that's not the central theme of the game, right? Usually if there's a summoner class or something, it's part of an RPG where there are multiple classes, and so the game is not necessarily built around necromancer gameplay. So I've always wanted to make a game that's just focused purely on summoner / necromancy and make it the definitive necromancer power fantasy, but I have not been confident enough in my game design abilities to even attempt that yet. But that is my pie in the sky, I guess you could call it my dream game. But it's not really, I don't really necessarily have an idea for the game. I just have this goal, which is to create a definitive necromancer experience, and what form that will take, I don't know. And I don't even know when I'm going to get around to developing that, because like I said, I'm scared. Oh, also the question here is if this projects abilities onto other cards, what does it do when it does its turn? I don't know if this is going to work from a game design perspective, honestly. I think this probably would be better suited as an artifact. So give all X cards healing. This would probably, this will probably be better as an artifact. Because I already have a system for adding abilities to cards with artifacts, but the problem is if I have a card itself that is supposed to add abilities to other cards, the problem is what does it look like when the card finishes its turn? If it's just a passive buff, I mean, I guess I'm not opposed to cards that are just passive buffs, but the turn cooldown becomes completely useless, and I don't know if that's good from a game design perspective to have this turn system and then it not being used. Of course, it could be a temporary buff, oh, the next execution of any card it also adds a heal or whatever, but I mean, I could do that. I mean, what are your thoughts? What is everyone's thoughts here on that? Hello, Happy Creeper. Welcome back. Don't explode, please. This game seems really fun. Looking forward to playtest stage. Thank you. Yeah, I hope so. I hope it'll be fun. Like Dark Pikmin or Overlord. Yeah, something like that. Although I didn't really like those games. I don't think they really executed on the power fantasy of being a necromancer or a minion summoner. Yes, this is Obsidian with the Kanban community plugin. Maybe you could also debuff the enemies for one round, -2 damage or something. Yeah. I mean, what do we think? Should I make it add healing to cards, but only for the next execution? That's gonna make things really tricky as well. I don't know if I want to do that. Do I want to... The fundamental question is, do I want to modify what abilities a card has while the combat is happening? Because that's what the morel would do in my original idea. I just don't know if I want to open that can of worms right now. And I don't know if it's going to work from a gameplay perspective either. So it's going to be a lot of data and logic to manage, but also I just don't know if that's going to be good or not. I think it would be a better artifact. That's what I'm thinking too, Schlurgy. Necromancer game would be great. That's always what I started with in Diablo likes. Yeah, me too. Me too. If there's a Necromancer class in a game, that's literally the only class I'll ever play. Like I was playing Elden Ring Night Rain, and the only time I ever played any other character was to get to the point where I could unlock the Revenant, and I haven't played any character since. That's the only character I play. I think the cards could enhance connecting cards can be very useful when considering types of builds to use. It allows more unique builds without needing any more cards to get the same effect. Yeah, and I do have cards like that. Like, the other option is I could make the morel do healing based on the cards around it. So the question is not like, can I have a card that gets buffed based on other cards on the board? It's more so a question of going the other direction, where the morel, instead of having its own abilities to execute, it projects or places abilities onto other cards. That's the sort of difference that I'm thinking about. And that might just be too much. That might be, maybe I should just stick to the morel having healing based on what cards are on the board. So let's do this. Gains healing based on other healing cards, maybe? So the morel can scale in power based on how many other cards have heal ability, I think. Yeah, in my opinion, all cards should be turn-based and not a permanent buff. I agree. Was definitely disappointed when I tried Necromancer's Tale, not what I was looking for. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. I haven't heard it, but if you're disappointed, I'd probably be disappointed too. My Necromancer game is like, let me create an army, and like ideally I would also have some kind of micromanagement over the minions too. So like being able to determine like what behavior the minions have in terms of like, are they aggressive? Are they defensive? Do they prioritize low health targets? Do they prioritize high health targets? Things like that. But then also I've always been fascinated with the idea of like if you imagine an RPG format where you go through villages and you just slaughter a bunch of people, getting all kinds of loot, and then that loot just goes directly on your minions rather than on you. So like you are mostly just like a little walking squish ball that can't be hit or attacked, otherwise you'll die. But then your minions are all of your power projection, and like all of the equipment goes on the minions, and the minions are the things that engage in combat. And then your gameplay is basically just a matter of like positioning yourself behind walls of minions so that you don't get hit by projectiles or whatever, running around buffing minions, resurrecting minions as they die. So it would be much more of like you're playing a support role for the army that you're constructing, you know what I mean? Would the Firebelly Necro game be 3D, text-based 3D platformer with major mechanics? I don't know. I thought it would be interesting to take an approach like Battle Brothers, which is like this really hardcore turn-based strategy game where you can like outfit your Battle Brothers with different gear and stuff. That could just easily be rethemed to be like a Necromancer kind of game. That'd be interesting, but could have it act like Life Leech every X turns. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, maybe. Simpler sounds good to start. Yeah, probably. Depends on the mechanics you want. That could be nice if you want a card that increases, say, the rage stack on cards around that use the type of mechanic each time it goes off. Yeah. I do think it would be an interesting mechanic. I just don't know if I want to get into that right now. I don't know. I kind of do, but I kind of don't. The only way, I guess, to figure that out is to try it. Now you're kind of changing my mind. Okay, here, tell you what. This is what I will say I want to do, but I'm actually going to just do a quick little experiment and see how easy it is to project an ability onto a card that lasts for one turn, or one execution, I mean. This is going to be hard, actually, but let's do it. Fine. Nothing worth doing was ever easy, right? I just need to get something working. I can't just be... Just can't think. You just gotta do. I need a new composed ability. How am I gonna do this? I I actually think project heal. And then morel will do new project heal. Okay. Project. Maybe I'll just use this project language. Ability. I might need an ability explanation for this. Ability explanation project. Projected abilities are temporarily added to cards and disappear after execution. Okay. Public override void get. How do I do get ability explanation? Where is that even used? Why is this so hard? Oh, this is used in the base. All right, well, that's gonna have to be, I'm gonna have to figure this out. Shoot. All right. CRPG reverse Pikmin, yeah. Necromancer's Tale is a story-heavy CRPG, probably not what you're looking for. Oh yeah, story-heavy, no. Let's see. I also think that cards that project onto those around are useful because artifacts tend to be global, whereas the cards can have stronger effects for a limited selection of cards. Yeah, I agree. We're going to see how it works. We're going to see. Do you avoid long and strenuous tasks on stream? The tasks that I tend to avoid on stream are the tasks that I don't necessarily know how to accomplish right away. But sometimes I'll do stuff that I don't know how I'm going to implement this ability projection. So you're going to kind of come along on an adventure with me. What if it doesn't heal and instead infects, Last of Us style? Interesting. Yeah. Did you make Balatro? I did not make. No, if I made Balatro, I wouldn't be streaming right now. I'd be in a mansion somewhere, a nondescript mansion at the top of a hill with lightning bolts striking around. Card that infects one of your cards, and after X round, the card disappears and creates a stronger version of the card infected. Ooh, interesting. That is an interesting idea. Anyway, so how am I going to do this? So project heal, base magnitude. We're not going to do a card tag filter in here. So let's get rid of the tag filter. Query count provider. Paralysis, where is this used? This is not, let's see. Simple paralysis. shoot. How am I going to do this? I don't even know how the card highlighting works anymore. How does the card highlighting work? Oh, this is an iBoard queryable. Oh, I see. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to create a new file, query target provider. And I'm going to copy this and paste this here. Is that going to work? I don't know if that's going to work, actually. I need to query the board for example, all the adjacent. So this would be query directions.adjacent. For all the adjacent cards, we don't need a tag filter. But I need the list of cards to apply it to. Maybe I need, oh shoot, let me think. Maybe I need to do like an ability projector here. Oh, wow. How is this gonna work? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I think what I need to do is do something like this. So this ability projector here. Oh, I need the namespace too. Ability projector. This can be a query target provider. Yeah, that works. iAbility magnitude target ability. I think I can just do base ability, projected ability. Projected ability, execute. This here, this is where I'm going to need to temporarily apply projected ability to targets. So in here, what I would do is I would do where's query board happening? Oh my gosh, this is so complex. Ability value provider. I don't think this needs to be an ability value provider. Query target provider. Query board with final filter. How does this work? Where's iBoard queryable used here? So in the ability projector, what I would need to do if I got this query target provider, does this need to be an ability? Conditional ability provider, where's that? Conditional value provider. I don't think I need this to be an ability. So let's get rid of that. And we're not going to have an execution. So there's our query target provider. We're going to pass that into this. When we execute the ability projector, what we're going to do is we're going to do get or query targets. I don't know what that's doing. That's okay. Okay, and then in here, what we'll do is we'll just do for each var target and targets, gd.print. I don't know what the AI is doing here. Target dot base card dot card definition resource dot display name. Okay, get abilities to execute. I don't know if I need that. Okay, let's just start. Let's just do this. We don't need any of that. Okay, so we've got a projected ability. That's fine. So project heal now is going to be, instead of this dynamic magnitude ability, well, we might need that still. Let me think. No, let's do this. Heal ability. Let's get rid of dynamic magnitude. Value scaler we'll probably want at some point, but let's do a heal. Let's just do 1. So query count provider, this needs to go away now. This needs to be query target provider. And we're going to do query directions. Query target board. Oh, query source board is set to true by default. Okay. Value scaler, we're not going to worry about this yet. Get rid of that stuff. Okay, and then in here, project ability projector. So var ability projector is equal to new ability projector. Target provider and the heal ability. Then we're going to do abilities.add ability projector. I have no clue if that's going to work, but let's do project heal in here, and we're pulling in a base magnitude here, so I might as well put that in there, and then let's just do 1 in here. I know I have chat to catch up on. Hold on a second. I'm in the zone. All right, there's no way this is going to work first try. I mean, it doesn't even work yet, but what I can do now is ability projector. I can do public override ability explanation, get explanation now. And then I can return ability explanations dot projector project. And then in here, new ability descriptor. I think, yeah, I did do blue. Blue, thank you. I need to change these description utils all over the place, but let's see if it works. Run manager. Oops. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see. A card that, oh, I already read that. Let's see. I've been using node attribute in course learning from your Godot utilities, but can you showcase some more features of it? And by the way, this is an awesome utility. Yeah, I could do that at some point. Oh, this is broken. I could do that at some point, but yeah, maybe not right now. I would love to do like a YouTube video going over it, but I want to do some work on the Godot utilities as well. Can card instances hold on to temp buffs? E.g. apply callable to override stats for end turns in their current state? Or are you having to sort that out here too? Yeah, the way I'm going to make this work is that they'll just clear out their projected abilities after they execute. So projected ability is just a temporary ability that will last until the next execution. And once it executes, it goes away. So you could stack multiple projected abilities onto a card and it will execute all of them on its next turn before going away. And that means that, let's say that you have a card that has a cooldown of 10, it takes 10 turns, and the morel has a cooldown of 2 turns, right? So you could stack up like 4 heals or 5 heals onto that single card by just keep applying the ability projection, and then it will just go through all of those and execute them all. So that's the way I'm thinking about it. We'll see what happens though. Just watched videos about code review and that teach me a lot. You're welcome, Swilzy, or I don't. Oh yeah, you're welcome, Swilzy. Yeah, thank you for being here. Welcome. Hello, Alfonso. How are you? I'm doing well. How are you? It's good to see you. I've been working on pixel art a lot. I was wondering if it's a good profit to sell my assets to get extra money. No, I don't. My hunch, my impression is that that's not going to be a good way to make money. Mostly just because I've never, paid for an asset myself. If I look for pixel art assets, it's usually like I'm just looking for something public domain. Otherwise, I'm making my own assets. The problem with pixel art, especially compared to like 3D, is that pixel art style is so variable that it's not really something where you can just like get some pixel art from this pack and get some pixel art from that pack and like put them all in the same game, because they're going to look radically different. It's not like 3D where you could import the models and the models generally look like what you want and you just retexture them a little bit. So my honest assessment is like, I don't think that would be a good way to make money, but you know, you can always try it and see what happens. But yeah, I would imagine that that's not very profitable. Hello, how was your day? I'm doing well, Instakel. And how are you? Right on, I like the stacking idea. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool, but we have to get this to work first. Value scaler. Oh, I never set the value scaler. Okay, let's just get rid of that then. Okay, here's our morel. Ability description here. Okay, do you think that's broken? Just wondering, do you guys think that's broken? Okay, anyway. Oh, this is still, yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Projects 1 healing. Yeah. I need to redo my description system. Projects 1 healing to adjacent cards. So that description is all working. Let's see if it works when I hover over it. That's going to be the big question here. It doesn't work. So it should be highlighting cards that it's going to affect. Why doesn't that work? I mean, I can figure that out later, I suppose. Let's actually do this. Let's see if I get that print to work when it executes. So how much is the cooldown on the morel here? 2 turns. Okay, so we'll just do this. And we'll go into combat real quick. And what I should see is I should see prints if this is working correctly. Applying projected to ability target dowsing rod. Okay. All right. So our logic is working so far. So we got to worry about the highlighting, why that's not working. That is a visual thing that can happen later. Although the thing is, I should probably figure that out because it's possible that I'm implementing this in the wrong way, such that it's going to need to be fixed before I go too far. Let me think. Maybe this needs to be an iBoard queryable itself. Or maybe, does this need to be an iComposite ability, maybe? No. Get affected cells. So I think this is where the highlighting is being called from. Yeah. Okay, so what happens if I do this then? Maybe this should be an ability. Base card ability. And then I can do how am I using this? Go away, cat. I don't want you right now. I'm thinking. Go. Go, go, go. I'll hold you later. I'll hold you later, buddy. The problem is it needs to be implemented as an ability for the highlighting to work. The other thing I could do is I can make this an iBoard queryable here and just forward those calls, but I don't know if that's a good way to do it. I could either do it that way or I could do an iComposite ability, I think. How do I do this? I don't know how to implement this exactly. This query count provider is implemented as an ability. I think I probably should do that. Private card stats query results. Query results is equal to get our query targets this execution context. Return empty result. We'll just set that to empty array by default. And then I'll probably need like a public void or public card stats get query results. Let's create a new array from that so we're not returning a reference. Okay, so that's an ability now. So this ability projector, I think this needs to be a base composed ability. Nope, it can't be a base composed ability. Does this need to be an I composite ability then? We're just going around in circles here. Get abilities to execute. How is this used? Okay, I think I've got it. So this needs to be a composite ability. Get abilities to execute. This needs to return target provider. Shoot, this is not going to work either. Gosh. How in the hell? I mean, how in the heck? The problem of doing the composite ability here is that this query target provider is now designed to execute as an ability, which is going to update its query results. But the problem is that those query results are going to be available after this ability projector runs. So that's not exactly helpful. But I need this to be an ability, this query target provider. I need that to be an ability so that way it can do the highlighting. So this is actually revealing sort of a problem here. How am I going to do this? I disagree with the pixel art take. We're in an indie boom and pixel art, good pixel art is in pretty high demand currently. Few art friends are making their living off of it. Yeah, but are they doing commissions or are they making pre-made packs and selling them on itch.io? That's the question. I think in terms of healing, damage should be green-red. Yeah, that already exists. Can you extend the class slightly for the functionality to make this a little bit easier? Well, no, because this, I mean, I could, but I need to design it in a way that's scalable within the system. I can't just introduce a bunch of conditionality around the code base to handle these specific scenarios. It needs to be as generic as possible. Which is why I'm trying to use the framework that I already have in place. But I don't know if it's going to work. Some indie packs, but mostly as a commissioned artist. Yeah, I mean, I would bet that they're getting most of their money from the commissions that they're doing. Unless they're making, like, the only other way I could think about it is, like, unless you're making a really comprehensive pixel art pack that has everything a developer would need. But the problem is, like, what happens when a pixel art pack you buy doesn't have everything you need? What do you do then? You can't just, like, mix and match from other pixel art packs. That's not going to work because of the style differences. That's my main point. I don't know how to get this to work. I don't know what to do. I mean, there's like 1,000,001 ways to get it to work. The problem is how to get it to work in a way that's not going to completely ruin my code base. That's the question. Hmm. Get affected cells. Let's see. 4-bar ability in base card. Get all abilities. If ability is iBoard queryable. Let's unindent this. Stop! Oh, continue. It needs to be an ability. I mean, that's the gist of it. I think the best thing to do, honestly, is this query target provider. I mean, I'm already using the query count provider. How is this working? That's being added into a value scaler, and then that's being provided in the dynamic magnitude ability. So it's adding the query count provider there. Oh, I see. Oh. I know how to do this. This is not a composite ability. Right, so this would be targets is equal to query or target provider dot get query targets or get query results. Right, and then in this ability projector, here's what I would do. Right, this query target provider needs to be added first. Abilities dot add query target provider. There we go. I figured it out. I think that will work. At least it seems like it wasn't too bad getting it started, just a bit difficult to get it to conform to the current standard. Yeah, and like, the reason I took my time is because, yeah, I could have done it in a way that made it work, but now look at this, it's working and I didn't change anything else about my system. You know what I mean? So, you know, this is part of like working with constraints, right? That's a big thing that I recommend is like working with constraints because that breeds creativity and like, you know, it reduces the universe of options available to you, which keeps you more focused. That's also true of whatever framework you're building for your game. You know, it's very tempting to just say, well, I want to add this new thing, and so I'll just write new code to support that case. But I think it's much better to take a moment and like think, how can I make this work within my existing system with minimal additional code? And that's what I was doing right there, is like I was really hesitant to write any sort of new pattern or use any new paradigm for this morel, because I'm like, I want to make it work with what I have now. And I was able to do that. So now when I highlight this, it's working properly. It's highlighting the cards that it's going to affect, as you can see there. And if I do this here, that's not an adjacent. So it's only adjacent if it's actually touching. So that's actually working now. So I have the highlighting working, and I should still see, oh, I don't want the button there. I should still see that when I go into a combat encounter, which there isn't one, so I'm gonna have to go through this real quick. I can still see that when there's a combat encounter, I should see those prints still. Yeah, applying projected ability to target dowsing rod. So that's working great. So perfect. Let me just make sure I don't have any meetings today for my part-time job. I don't. Okay, so we can keep going for a little while here. Actually, tell you what, I'm going to, let me think. I'm going to commit what I have, and then maybe we'll go for another 15 minutes or 30 minutes or something. I want to see if I can get this projected ability to actually work in here so we can see it working. And I'll do a bunch of cleanup off stream for this. it's not going to be finished by the end of the stream, but let's get the ability actually executing. I think that would be fun. So let's do this. Initial work on morel and ability projector. Okay. I'm personally struggling with having abilities that can do a lot, how to make a system open enough that abilities can do what they need. It's a tough problem. I would recommend asking the AI, like use the AI as your rubber duck and describe all of the requirements that you have and emphasize to the AI that you want it to be extensible and maintainable. The way that my ability system works is it's basically just very small building blocks that all build on top of each other. And that's why I have so many of these things here, like execution count provider. All this class does is this provides a count of how many times a card has executed. This fire only applies fire. This is not useful. We got value providers for the purpose of providing values into things. So it's like very like building blocks with interfaces and very narrow abilities. And then when I create composed abilities, like this damage execution growth, I build those things out of those building blocks. So start with a damage ability, then I need an execution count because this ability it scales the damage based on how many times it has run or executed that turn. So I need the damage that I want to scale. I need the count of the executions. And then, if I want to scale the damage by the execution count, well, I have a value scaler that does that, right? And then I can set the multiplier or additional values as necessary on that value scaler. And then I have a dynamic magnitude ability, which is essentially an ability that wraps a base ability, a target ability, with a value provider. And so that value provider allows me to tell the ability which value it should use the next time it executes. And then those just get added to the list of abilities to execute. So it's hard to go into like a deep dive into how this system works, but it's just building blocks. It's just like one thing after another, like very narrow, like here's my damage, here's the value scaler that scales the damage, here's the execution count provider that provides the execution count, here's the dynamic magnitude ability that can change the ability on a per execution basis. And then just building all those things up together is fun. I don't use AI, nor do I know of a way to access one. I enjoy figuring it out and learning from my mistakes. Yeah, it's just, I think it can help you skip a lot of yeah, I mean, I used the AI consulting with this system just to make sure that I was on the right track. It kind of prevented me from spinning my wheels too much about like, do I do it this way or do it that way? So, I think it's very helpful. Okay, give me 3 minutes. I'll be right back and then we'll continue on and we'll try to make this work. Okay, I'm back. Let's see if we can get these projected abilities actually working now. So the good news is that the logic is working to get all the cards that need to have those things applied. So now it's just a matter of figuring out how to actually get that to work. So let's do this. Hello, Blake. Welcome back. Congrats on releasing the multiplayer course. Do you have any plans to release your courses directly on your own website or platform? I might do that in the future. My next immediate plan is to get YouTube memberships working. And what I want to do is for the highest membership tier, I want to give those members access to playlists on YouTube that contain all of my course content. So as an alternative to buying through Udemy, you can pay a monthly subscription to YouTube. And while you have that monthly subscription active, you have access to all the courses just immediately. So I think that's just going to be a little bit of a different model for people who want to do that. So if you think that you can just grind through 4 courses in a month, you could pay for a 1-month YouTube subscription and get four of my courses out of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think, yeah. From your advice about the board the other day has really helped me. Thank you so much, Firebelly. You're welcome. You're welcome. Happy to help. Hello, Thasius. AI is best used when you know what you're doing because AI is going to have a lot of mistakes, but they give you a planned path of thought so it's easier to implement. Yeah, I agree. Oh, I like that better than Udemy. I'll probably be subbing for that. Yeah. The tricky thing is I just got to go and get all of my things uploaded, and then I also have to figure out a way of hosting the resources as well. So it's just going to take me some setup time, and I haven't done a deep dive into like how to actually present that, but I think it could be a very good option for people to do. Okay. So in here, I have something like get abilities. I think for this one, I will add another array here. So get all abilities. So this is collecting abilities recursively from artifacts as well. So in here, I think what I would do is private read-only list base composed ability, and then I'll do projected composed abilities. Public void add projected composed abilities. IEnumerable base composed abilities. Let's do projected abilities here. All composed abilities dot add range, projected composed abilities, and then get all abilities in here, collect abilities recursively, projected composed abilities, all abilities. I think those are the only 2 changes that I need to make there. And then after execution, projected composed abilities dot clear, like so, and then reset all ability states. Where is this called? Yeah, so in here, projected composed abilities dot clear. I think that should be it. Let's see what happens. I enjoy listening to courses in my free time. So sorry if I missed it, but if you have an ability that does something on damage taken, how do you have it proc that, like a global event bus that it can subscribe to? So because this is a turn-based game, cards don't really react in real time. So what I do instead is I have a running history of all the important events that happen, and I can query that history when I need to. So for instance, I have a slime that does reflection damage. So the slime, let's just say it reflects an equal amount of damage to the damage that you take. But since the slime still has a turn cooldown, it can't execute until several seconds later, for instance. What it needs to do is it needs to know how much damage was taken since its last execution, right? And so it's not necessarily responding to damage taken. Rather, it is, when it executes, it's going back into the turn history and saying, okay, from this turn index to this turn index, what was the total damage that was done to the player board? And then it can use that number to do its damage calculation, right? So that's how that works. I don't know if I have anything that responds to damage directly yet, but I would probably use an event bus if I needed to do that, yeah. Couldn't you use GitHub for the resources? I could, yeah. I could definitely do that. I also have Backblaze S3 buckets that I could host them onto. Of course, there's no combat here. Let's put the morel and the dowsing rod here. All right, let's see what happens. So this has a turn cooldown of 2 and 5. Dowsing rod does not show any abilities, but let's see if it heals me. It didn't work. Oh, because I didn't do anything. Oops. I forgot the most important part, which is this. Target.baseCard.add projected composed abilities. And this would be the projected ability here. Okay, that needs to be a base composed ability. Okay. All right, so let's see. Here we go. Boom. Boom. There we go. See, it's got the heal ability on it now. Now this needs to indicate that it's coming from the morel as well. Now it's got 2 heals on it, so this should heal me too. Boom, boom, look at that, it's working. Look at that, it might even do 3 here. Oh. No, it executed first before the morel was able to add. Yeah, look at that, look at that, it works. I should have done a more thorough test here, so... let's do, I want to make sure that it's getting cleared when the combat ends as well. There we go, it's working. Streaming past noon, who is this guy? Yeah, I gotta do some work for my part-time job, but I'm really into what I'm working on right now, so I just want to make sure that it works. Mine's an auto battler game where abilities, when they come off cooldown, proc. So still building the system that allows them to do everything they need that's open. Yeah. Yep. Hello, Mr. Radex. Curious without sharing any sensitive details, is making courses for Udemy a good source of income for you? Can you compare somehow with Gunforged sales? Yeah, that's where the majority of my income comes from, is the Udemy courses. right now. Gunforged, like the residual like Gunforged sales are like not that much per month. So Udemy is like my bread and butter source of income right now, which I'm trying to change. I want to change that with this game. My goal is to make more income from games than I do from courses, but I do have to maintain and create courses in the meantime to keep the income rolling in. And like I said, I also have that part-time job, which helps me with my budget as well. So trying to make do with what I've got, you know what I mean? Yes, nice indeed. Yes, indeed. Hello, Nepal V. Welcome back. Good to see you. So this is working great. There's a ton of problems here. Like this is not scalable yet, and the highlighting, the text highlighting is all wrong. But I definitely want to do some more work with that. But the important thing is that this works, and I want to see what happens when the combat ends. That, yeah, this should have all of its abilities cleared that were projected onto it. So that seems to be working great. The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous is that I have to use a composed ability here in the ability projector, which is probably okay, but it's just going to change how I scale that, because there's a certain scale that happens here. Although, yeah, I'm going to have to scale it differently. I mean, ideally, I would make base composed abilities configurable in terms of how they scale, but yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I could also create a composed ability on the fly. Like, I don't think that I need to, oh, well, it's abstract, so yeah, I would. Okay, well, that's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous. Why does it need to be a composed ability? Oh, in here, yeah. So that's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous. A composed ability is basically just a logical grouping of several sub-abilities. So like a simple heal. So there's a heal ability here, which is just like all the heal ability does is it says, what's my heal amount? And then when it executes, it heals for that much. But anything revolving around how it scales and whatnot is handled in the simple heal. That's what wraps, like, that's what provides the description, that's what provides the scaling, and it basically just wraps this heal. So it's very narrow, the heal. And so any like logical grouping of abilities is called a composed ability. And it's the composed abilities that are the things that get alchemized. So you have a card with 5 different composed abilities, which may be powered by 10 abilities behind, you know, or under the hood. And when you alchemize that card with other things, it's the composed abilities that get all mixed up and jumbled up, not the individual like backing abilities, if that makes sense. So the composed abilities are basically a way for me to define abilities that make sense as like a coherent unit. And then I can shuffle those around rather than trying to make nonsensical abilities from all the base ability parts, if that makes sense. Now, the one thing that I want to do is, if I look at the Iron Gauntlet, where am I adding the description prefix? Oh, here. Set description prefix. So in this ability projector, I think what I want to do is I want to add project heal. I'm going to want string description prefix here. That's not going to work, is it? I'll just add I'll just do this. I'll make it easy on myself. Description utils or game constants dot create color bb code color game constants dot color blue projected like so. I won't make it more complex than it needs to be. It just needs to indicate that that's an ability that is not naturally on that card. So if I do this and I do that, and I run this and that goes and I do this, that didn't work. Son of a bee, because I did it wrong. I think I need to do that in here. Heal ability.set description prefix, like so. I think that's what I need to do instead. How do you handle balancing, or what's your plan to handle the balancing? Well, the plan is I'm going to play it a bunch until it feels good to me, and then I'm also going to open up a play test to players. Balancing is not something that I'm very good at, nor do I know how to do it very well. So I'm going to be relying on the community to provide feedback for the play test, but I'm going to play it myself and just try to make a good judgment as to what the game feels like. So now it says projected. That's cool. I think that's working well. And it even shows the description of the projected abilities too, which is nice. It's coming. Are your text colors from the same palette as well? Yes. Yes, everything comes from the same palette. Hello, Artem. Thanks a lot for sharing about the Udemy income. Yeah, you're welcome, for sure. Okay, so that's going to be it for the stream today. I'm going to commit what I have. So that actually ended up being relatively straightforward. It took me a little bit to wrap my head around how my system works and what I should be doing. But at the end of the day, it largely was just a slot into the existing framework that I've built. So that was good. So yeah, that was great. Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you all for being here. Again, the pinned message in the chat contains a link to the new cooperative online multiplayer course. Definitely use my link for that, because that's my referral code. When you purchase it using my referral code, I get the overwhelming majority of the sale. So please use that if you want to support me, and hope you enjoy the course. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. It was great chatting with you all. Do you feel C# gives you more control over the engine? Not the engine specifically, but it helps me with organization for sure, and just getting these systems designed. So yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks again, everyone. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. And I will not be streaming tomorrow at the usual time. So hit the notification bell to be notified when or if I do go live tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll be back at it on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay. Bye, everyone.